How's it going, guys? Welcome back, and we're back with our How to Tame series. We're starting it all over again so that I can make sure that you guys get the information you need in the most informative and easy to view way possible. And we're starting off from the very beginning, as you can see on screen, from when you spawn to your first tame, and going on to talk about how you do perfect tames and stuff like that. So let's get straight into it. So guys, let's get started from the very beginning, because most likely if you're still watching this video, apart from if you like my videos, you're more than likely a new player or an old player coming back and wanting to catch up on what you need to do early in the game to get started the right way and get going very quickly. So starting off with just the basics, because I think it's an important thing to cover, because people don't really cover that very often. You need to get your pick made as soon as possible by punching a tree, getting yourself some wood and some thatch, and then picking up a stone off the beach so you can make the pick. Then once you have the pick made, you want to get yourself some flint, so you have flint and more stone, of course, to make your stone hatchet, which will allow you to get wood. Once you have your stone hatchet, you can then get your spear, and then you are suddenly able to defend yourself against the carnivorous dinosaurs on the beaches. And of course, the other thing you should be doing is grabbing as many berries as you can. That will give you the fiber you need to make the items, but it will also give you major berries and narco berries that will get you started in the taming. Now you can see here, I've only actually recorded about 15 minutes of footage, and I'm leaving it unedited in the background here. Sometimes it'll be overlaid by graphs that I want to show you, but for the most part, you can see the raw unedited footage of getting started in the game, and I've done a pretty good, I've started pretty good. Actually, I only have my server settings tweaked a little bit, but I got my first dodo tamed within that first 15 minutes of the game, and I also got a few levels up. Now I've got my leveling set to 2 times normal, so obviously, you know, the levels I get in that 15 minutes, you on a public server will take about half an hour to do that. But you know what? Half an hour isn't that bad compared to when we started off way back when. I can remember it took me, I think it was my second day playing to get to level 15, because no one had any idea what we were doing. And you know, that's why I want to make this video. Is a lot of people don't like games where you don't have anything explained to you. My best friend is exactly one of those people, so you know, I completely understand where you're coming from. And I've been there myself. It's frustrating as all hell, but you know, those games tend to be actually some of the best games out there. Like Ghost Recon Wildlands, the new game due to come out shortly, is exactly the same. I've actually already played it, and it's a great game, but it doesn't really tell you much about how to play it. It just kind of dumps you in there with a basic understanding, and just leaves you run around the map. But it's really, really good. The same can be said about Subnautica, about Minecraft. Like, oh god, Minecraft way back when was so bad because the crafting table didn't even tell you what you were going to be crafting by doing the combinations. Yeah, it's a lot of the greatest games out there at the moment tend to be that way, that they don't give you a whole lot of help with the game and just dump you straight into it. So that's why I'm doing this. Now, as you can see, I've started trying to get my dodo as early as possible. Now, this one was too low level, and it ended up actually dying. So I harvested it for meat and for some hide, and so that I can get my first sleeping bag made. And then I ran down the beach looking for another one. I spotted a baryonyx further down the inlet, so I decided, nope, not doing that. And I decided to cross the river and go look for a more friendly area of the beach nearby. And the reason I'm doing this is because, one, when dinosaurs are unconscious, they are, you know, completely vulnerable to everything else. You, other players, and you know, the dinosaurs around them. So I want to make sure I have only herbivores around me when I knock out my first dino. And then also I want to make sure that it stays alive, and myself as well, because I don't think I'm going to be able to handle a baryonyx at whatever level I'm at right now. I think it's about 3 or 4, possibly, maybe it's 6 or 7. But it's really important that you start in a really passive area so you can get your first dodo, get onto getting a listro, a trike, a parasaur, and some dilos. Now, the reason I mentioned those ones in particular is they are the ones you want to tame first. The dodo, it sounds like, why would I bother? But, most people know they don't actually kill anything. And they're basically like their real life counterpart. They're going to go extinct because they can't do anything. But what they are really good at is laying eggs, which make dodo kibble when you unlock the cooking pot, and is going to make it so much easier to get a flying mount because the pteranodon actually eats dodo kibble for its perfect tame. It will of course tame faster, and it will give you more levels in the boost from taming if you use kibble as opposed to raw meat. Which of course will open up a huge amount of the map to you, allow you to get around, get the materials you need to make the higher level engrams. But the dodo itself is, it's underestimated, because in the very beginning of the game it's actually one of the most useful tames you can do before you even go near getting some dilos to defend yourself while you're out harvesting or using them to go hunting animals. The dodo, as you can see on screen, I'm shoving all my meat into the dodo because it actually increases the spoilage timer. So what most beginners don't realize it, and most people don't find it out until it doesn't really matter anymore because they've already got a preserving bin or a fridge. But when you put expirable items inside a dinosaur, it actually increases the amount of time you have before those items spoil. So that is why I always tame a dodo as early as possible, because they become my mini fridge for my base, so I always tame one up as quick as possible. Another addition is when you tame them you get an XP boost, which of course brings you up another level and gets you started. So that's why getting taming in the very beginning is really, really important. So that is it for getting started, and I'm going to move on to why taming and thinking about taming from the very beginning is so important. And we're going to do that now, but I'm going to stop the recording for a quick second. I'm going to get a graph made, and then I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And we're back. So you guys can see on screen now that there is a taming order when using kibble. Starting out with the Dilos tree here, because it has more in it and it leads you to the Argentavis, which in my opinion and a lot of the big players' opinions is the kind of the god mode of the game. It allows you to do everything you need to do. Once you have that, you won't have any trouble really doing anything else in the game. So the way you do that, of course, is taming the Dilo, which is the one I always recommend getting at the beginning, along with the Dodo, as I said in the previous segment. And it allows you to get the eggs from the Dilo, allow you to make kibble. That will allow you to get anklos, which will give them the level boost and get them faster, which is really important because the anklos will actually harvest a lot more flint, a lot more stone, and a lot more metal for you, especially if you decide to start out on a herbivore island. You have all those nodes right beside you there, so get started in it quickly. The anklos actually spawn on a herbivore island, so it's a great place to get started with that. Then, of course, the Anklo eggs will get you the Carnotaurus, which is like a mini T-Rex and is rideable. So that will be your hunter-killer, which is great. Then, of course, if you want perfect tame trikes, the Carno eggs will allow you to make the kibble for them. Trikes allow you to make kibble for Sarcos. Sarcos allow you to make kibble for Stegos, which allow you to make kibble for the Argentavis. And the higher level your Argentavis is, the easier the end game is going to be for you. So that's why it's really important to get started quickly, because every dinosaur at the lower levels is important for the later game. Now, of course, you can skip bits of that by going and doing a long tame on a Stegosaurus, a few Stegosaurus, and getting their eggs and going straight to the Argy. But, each of those dinosaurs along that tree actually have a great use for you in getting to the point where you're actually going to be able to tame an Argy. So I recommend actually following that taming tree. Now, of course, the Dodo has its own taming tree as well, so does the Parasaur. Like the Parasaur, for example, allows you to make the kibble required for raptors, which are great hunters. You can run around with them in a pack and you can destroy a lot of things in the kind of low to medium level areas. And the raptors will allow you to make eggs for the mammoth, which will be a massive improvement on your wood gathering abilities. It also gathers a huge amount of berries as well, but a lot of dinosaurs gather the berries. It's really its aptitude at gathering wood is what really makes the mammoth worth taming. So there are a bunch of those different things, and you can see the kibble chart on the Ark Wikipedia, or not Wikipedia, Wikia, which I will include the link in the description of this video for. But let's get on to perfect taming and what that's all about. So perfect taming is using the kibble and defending and using narcotics to tame an animal as best as possible. If you surround a dino with spiked fences, it will stop other dinosaurs from attacking it. And then if you use narcotics, keep it asleep, it'll keep it each narcotic will bump the torpidity a lot more than just a narco berry. And of course the kibble will give you a much higher taming effectiveness. If you didn't know, taming effectiveness dictates how high a level your dinosaur is going to be when the taming process finishes. So if you do it really badly, you will get 0 levels or no levels at all because it'll be dead. Or if you do it really well, it will level up. And we're going to move on to just showing exactly what those sort of benefits are now. So on the screen now, you should be seeing the Argentavis kibble comparison. You can see here for a level 150 Argentavis, it will take close to 400 minutes to tame with raw meat, and it will take 160 levels at the, or 167 levels at the end of it. If you use prime meat, it is much quicker, and it will give you about 208 levels for that taming process. And then the kibble is faster again, and it will give you 220 at the end of that taming. So why is that important? I can always level up to that. No, you can't, unfortunately. Depending on what level the dinosaur is at when it is tamed, it dictates the maximum level that dinosaur can go to. So it is really important to use kibble to get your dinosaurs as high as possible when you tame them. So when you go leveling them up, they can become as strong as possible. And I use the example of the Argentavis here because, as I said, that is your main, it's your god roll gun. If you were talking about another game, it's the one that you need to do everything that you need to do. So it's really important, and you know, that's where the dodo comes in, because you're going to need a pterodon to go and get an RG safely, and of course you're going to need the stego kibble to be able to perfect tame an RG. So that is where it gets really important. That's why it starts from the very beginning. So I'm going to quickly move on to what sort of things you need to be able to do the taming. So the more experienced players won't be too surprised by that, depending on how long you've been away. The options for taming are your fists. You can knock a dodo out with your fist, but it's got a fairly decent chance of actually killing the dinosaur. But if you manage to kill it with your fist or knock it out with your fists, it's probably actually going to die rather than get knocked out. You've got the club, which is great for knocking out lower level dinos. Awful for trying to take down bigger dinos. Your slingshot, again, great for lower level dinos, awful for bigger dinos. Then you've got your bow and arrow, and particularly the trank arrows, not the normal arrows, because if you use normal arrows, and always be careful about which arrows you've got loaded in your bow, you will just kill it. But if you use the trank arrows, it will knock it out much quicker, and they'll stay knocked out for a bit longer as well. Moving on from there, using the same trank arrows with a crossbow, which you can make with the smithy when you unlock that, will allow you to fire a little bit faster and further, but it will also knock out a little bit faster as well. And moving on to the final one, which is the tranquilizer dart. There are others like the boomerang and scorched earth, but I'm not going into those just yet, and the rest of them, they're not really worth it, so I'm not going to mention them. These are the main ones that you need to know, and they all, you know, there's a level, a kind of level requirement for each one of those. So you're not going to be able to use all of them from the very beginning. So let's talk about the different food types next. So herbivores obviously are going to be eating the berries, everything from your tinto and azul berries to your majo berries, and then moving on to kibble. Of course, all dinos eat some form of kibble, with the exception of the ones at the very bottom, like the dodo, the pulmonoscorpius, etc., etc. And then you've got your carnivores who eat raw meat. Now, there are two types of carnivores. Most people don't realize this. It was kind of added into the game a few months ago. There are dinosaurs who prefer raw fish meat, and there are dinosaurs that prefer raw prime meat, and there are carnivores who actually prefer spoiled meat. The spoiled meat is the perfect taming ingredient for the pulmonoscorpius. So if you want to go and tame a really good scorpion, make sure you have a ton of spoiled meat when you go looking for it. And you know, the new baryonyx, for example, is a amphibian, but it seems to prefer actually fish meat to normal meat, and prime fish meat will tame it faster and better than raw prime meat will. So that's another example of it. There are other types of animals as well. There is the mochops, which eats tree sap. It also eats leech blood, and it eats organic polymer, which you get from the kairuku, the penguins up in the Arctic area. Then you have some more ones that are a little bit different again, and they eat stuff like rare flowers and stuff like that. So, you know, it's quite wide ranging what is required. The oviraptor eats eggs. The dung beetle, you tame that with poop of all things. But, you know, obviously using bigger poop will tame it faster. Like Giganotosaurus poop is going to... I would be very surprised if it didn't instant tame a dung beetle less than level 20. But you get the idea. There are different types of foods, and as we go on in the series, as I cover each dinosaur, because I'm going to cover every single dinosaur in the game, in the vanilla game, because we're talking about Xbox, we don't have, and PlayStation, we don't have mods on our games yet, so we don't have this stuff like Anunnaki Genesis and the other mods like that have different creatures in them. But that's pretty much it for the video, guys. So I'm going to leave it there, and you should be seeing the end screen now. So you guys, on the top left, subscribe to my video to catch all my videos as they come out. You can go to the top right if you want to look at my latest video, the bottom right if you want to see more videos from this playlist. If you're watching this later in time, there probably will be more videos than this, but if you're watching this the day it comes out, there won't be. But then you also have on the left, you have my Twitter and Facebook. I use my Twitter. All my videos go up on my Twitter, and I do post updates on my Twitter as much as I can. I've taken it off my phone for now because my phone kept going dead, but it is on my desktop as soon as I log in. So I will be, if you guys want to chat to me, you can chat to me on there. Of course, you can drop a comment in the video, or you can go to my Google Plus through my YouTube channel as well. Or go to my discussions tab on my channel page. But all of that, you know, guys, I really want to hear from you guys. You know, I'm getting a lot of support from you guys. Like, I've only got, what, 12 subscribers as of recording this, and, you know, at some point all of you have talked to me, and it really does make a difference to me. It makes me happy to know people are enjoying my content, and I just wanted to say thank you to the guy yesterday who wished me better health because I was ill, and this video was supposed to come out on Monday and not Wednesday. So I put up a video yesterday, and I got a guy wishing me well. So, you know, thank you so much for all of that. It really means a lot to me. And guys, please subscribe. It helps the channel. And if you watch to the end of the video, here's the little sneaky one. I'm going to do my first live stream this Saturday, which is going to be the 25th of February 2017. So if you're watching this later, you'll be able to tell whether you've already kind of missed that window, but it will probably show up on my channel anyway, because I'm not going to be doing Twitch streaming for quite some time because I want to concentrate in one channel. I'm only learning all this stuff. I'm an amateur at this. Like, I'm a gamer and I'm a professional geek, so making videos and nattering on and whatnot is new to me. So I'm going to stick with one platform and learn it the best I can before I move on to a second platform. So the time of the live stream should be around 3 p.m. GMT, which should be morning time for East Coast US. So I do know there are some guys watching me from Canada and the US, so hopefully that will allow you guys to tune in if you want to. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Have a great day, and I will catch you on Friday with the next in our taming series, and I'll see you on Saturday for the live stream. All right, guys, have a great week, and I'll catch you soon.